What's up, everybody? What's up? Good evening, everyone. Sorry, running a little bit behind here. But we are in there now. All right, cool. We are up and running. Yes, of course. Do Uber C3. Yeah, we'll do C3. You like that? That reversal is pretty nice. I didn't see the follow through, so we'll take a peek at it for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and get right to it, guys. No delay. Go straight over our. We had a recap of today, so right off the bat, where is my recap? Is the sound okay? Just sound checking from earlier. Earlier we had a little bit of an echo issue, so I want to make sure that the sound is okay. All right. Jeez Louise, boy. That energy sector. That was a pop for sure. Yeah. All right, so just tagging everybody really quick, and we're gonna go ahead and go over the news now. All right, so just a brief recap today over the news. We can pull it up. Thank you. So energy. That was the #1 sector popping off today. We saw all major 4 indexes moving up. S&P up 0.85%. NASDAQ, that one was up 1.55%. Russell 2000 up 1.88%. And then we have the Dow Jones up 61%. So green day all around. Of course, the energy sector erupted and launched all the way up 3.75% to be the strongest sector of the day. But it's granted, the energy sector has taken a beating. Tech, consumer discretionary communications all gained. Or excuse me, consumer discretionary communications all gained less than 1%. Bitcoin popped through the 50K level, but couldn't hold those gains. Pfizer BioNTech COVID vaccine received the first approval from the FDA, making it the first vaccine in the United States to receive distinction. BNTX bolted 9.6%, and Pfizer popped 2.5%. DOCS DOCS ripped 14.39%. NVIDIA gained 5.5%. BNB, or excuse me, not BNB. But yeah, I don't know why that's a crypto. We had a few earnings today. I believe JD.com came through with a beat. Earnings per share was 0.45 versus the 0.41 or 0.45, excuse me, 45 cent over the 41 cent estimate. Revenue was 39.3 billion, up 26% year over year. And then not a terribly exciting earnings day. Tomorrow we have a little bit more in store. We'll go over that here in just a moment. So, how do I feel about Pfizer? I think Pfizer can go higher. I've been looking at the chart. I think it has a little bit more room in it. So, all right. Okay, so sorry, I was just reading your guys' message really quick. There it is. Okay. Okay, so we went over the Pfizer news. Of course, 92 million Americans have already received the Pfizer vaccine under the U.S. or EUA emergency use authorization, but Pfizer official FDA approval could be a sign of confidence that convinces millions of skeptical Americans to get the jab. FDA Acting Commissioner Janet Woodcock commented, while millions of Americans have already safely received the COVID-19 vaccine, we recognize that for some, the FDA approval for the vaccine may now instill some additional confidence. Get vaccinated today milestone puts us one step closer to altering the course of this pandemic in the U.S. So hopefully that's good for the market, of course. We did see shares of Trillium Therapeutics. Pfizer announced its acquisition of the company, and of course they shot up, and Pfizer, of course, up around 2.5%. Hold on one second. Sorry, I just realized that Virgin Galactic had some news, or Virgin Orbit, and I thought that this news came out because I bought a little bit of space today. And I was like, did I miss something? I didn't have any alerts go off. I had to reread the headline. I was like, wait, hold on. So other than that, guys, we went over the NFT, how to make an NFT in After Hours. And I had some people express some interest. I'm not an NFT expert. I am in the process of making my own. But I am happy to share with you guys what I know. So if anyone is curious on how to make an NFT, how to start minting them, that's one thing. Selling or putting them out there, that's a whole different other thing. But if you guys are curious about that, just let me know. And happy to show you guys, maybe even have like a little crypto workshop or an NFT workshop, and we can slap together some cryptos or punks or alternatives or something. I don't know. Visa bought a crypto punk today for like, I think, what was it, $150,000. So it's not a joke, guys. There's 12-year-olds out there making little tiny pixelated whales and getting to the bank. So other than that, we're gonna get straight to recapping the day. I myself, admittedly, it happens, I didn't have a bad day, but I didn't really have any day. Today was just a weird day. I spilled my coffee like right as I got started. Everything spilled it on my keyboard, and after that, I just felt really unusual. And I remember taking a couple trades, and I don't know, man. I missed a couple breakouts. I know a lot of you guys got some great trades. I saw some incredible trades. A lot of green in the gains page. I know a couple of other you guys struggled as well. Not terribly, but that's just the way it goes. And at some point, I think I lost $28 today, and for me, that's all right. I might pay commissions, $28 in commissions during a day. And what I did is I just essentially cut it short. I decided. And that's that, and I don't say this to brag. I'm saying this because it's taken me a while, through the trading process to gain patience and to be like, you know what? I don't feel like I can trade today as well. Now, I still stayed on. I still took a couple of different trades for swing trades, but for the most part, in my day trading account, I didn't really end up making anything or catching any of the trades that we talked about. If you guys, I know some of you guys aren't members in our group, but if you guys remember, you find any of those insiders selling, yes, Goers, we will. Thank you for reminding me. We are going to go over insider buys. I'm just going to go over the list. And here's how you can use those insider buys to your advantage. What you can do is you can write down the insider buys, right? And then you can set alerts around in like a zone, like a breakout zone. Find downtrend, chart it up, find where it would break downtrend, find where it would break uptrend, whatever the case may be, and then utilize your alerts in order to get an idea of when that's going to pop. Because we did see that insider buys come in. They bought the dip on DNUT, and in turn, that thing did rip. So let's see here. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. All right. I just wanted to change this background really quick for you guys. There we go. But that's in our chat, by the way, Coors. That's literally right above live trading. There's a whole slew of different. The flow is in there, all that good stuff. So, all right. If I sound a little funny, guys, I don't know. I got hit with something. I don't know what it is, but I feel like kind of like crap. Right, not like my sinuses are starting to like feel a little stuffy. So just FYI, if I sound like a dork. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go over our swings for the day. So I signaled a few different swings, and before I actually go into this, I don't know why I'm skipping it, but we're gonna go over the ETFs and then we'll go over those swings. But I did end up taking a few different swing trades, and if you guys aren't in the Discord or didn't see what I posted in after hours, there was a lot of block trades that came in for some of the trades that were in. I know a lot of you guys, I don't know if you guys took new with me, but new ended up rebounding. And if you guys were, I know you guys were, some of you guys were probably clenching your butt cheeks on Nucor, but we are already at 120.22.97 in after hours. So really nice gap up. Now, if you're in a small account, or you're in a smaller account, it's totally okay to take profit. And if we end up gapping up even higher or anywhere, anywhere in the 125 range, absolutely take profit on weeklies. Absolutely. You don't fight. Yeah, don't. No. So anyway, let's go ahead and start with SPY. Just really quick recap here. So we talked about this, and the only concern I had is that we actually really didn't retest anything, but I did say that there was a potential that every time we make a lower low, that we're only making more room for us to continue to make higher highs. And you can see this is very cyclical of SPY so far. We end up making a new high, we pull back, we make a new high, literally just a new high, we hold it maybe, and then we pull back. And so maybe we end up running up into the 450s. Honestly, at this point, I think it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to be a trigger point. It's going to be like a one specific catalyst or a catalyst. The market is meant to go up, and as long as the data backs it up and like nothing cataclysmic happens, like it's always something that scares the public, scares everybody. That's some type of natural disaster, virus. Could be a lot of different things. Aliens, who knows? But all that kind of stuff. So we can only react, and I think that's one of the rules we go over all the time. Is money is made by reacting to the market, not by hoping that the market does something that you want it to. Like we can only more than likely it's going to continue to go up. America, here we go. But all in all. This is happening on higher volume now, but still relatively low volume. So, all right. I still maintain a bit of bearishness, but I will watch the market and play the market to the upside in the meantime. All right. So with the Qs, and really, there's nothing else to say about SPY. I haven't seen really any signs of like. Incredible weakness, and like I said, one thing to remember is that it's always data, always some type of catalyst that can end up being the reason why we end up pulling back. So today we had existing home sales. Tomorrow we'll have at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So right around the time we start taking profit on certain trades, new home sale data will come out, and that is relatively high impact data. And then on top of that, going into Wednesday and Thursday, we start to pick up in the data area where we start to have more data coming in that can impact the market. So we could see a little bit more volatility as the week ends, but so far we're kind of coasting into not as detrimental data. So new home sales can affect the market, but I think that's already kind of, people are well aware of that. So all right, so let's go ahead and Pfizer. Yeah, we'll go over Pfizer in just a moment for sure. I've got that written down. All right, so we got the Qs up right here. So with the Qs, just like with Microsoft, they are up against that channel, and we talked about this verbatim. We said that as it pulls off to the side, it only gives it more room to run to the upside, and that's exactly what you're seeing now. It gives itself some room to breathe, and then it'll either pull back or consolidate. So honestly, with the data coming out, it's not outside of the realm of possibilities to wick up or have a little bit of a green day, maybe hitting that 375 mark, right? And I actually need to kind of pull that up. So, 375 it could be that mark that we hit. So it could be that short pop in the morning, good for scalps. And we'll watch the Qs as they approach that levels on that lower time frame. A lot of the times when you end the day like this, if you get a gap up, right, that gap initially will get filled. And then from there, you can end up having like a dip by day and still in the day with like a doji or, just a kind of a small candle there. And that'll give you that consolidation, underneath that resistance. So this is a inverse head and shoulders coming out of this pattern, by the way. Those of you who, this one not as clean, but this right here showing more strength, and that ended up playing out. This is a lower time frame inverse head and shoulders. So, for the most part, it's not going to run like parabolically for days and days unless it was on the daily time frame. Obviously, time frames correlate directly with the movement expected. So if you see something on the weekly, it could take a long time to play out, but it may have more impact. So and again, on the Qs, guys, we are up against this channel, so it's just a matter of watching and waiting, setting alerts. I will also say that Microsoft, which is obviously in tech, is perfectly lined up. They look identical, right? I keep seeing all these buy articles, like Seeking Alpha, says that Microsoft's an easy buy at this level. They put out but that's kind of when I get worried. I've also seen stocks that I thought were overbought end up running from there. So I'm watching Microsoft, and if Microsoft breaks this resistance and exchanges it for support, that's a whole new ball game, and we're going to be dealing with a whole new animal. But until then, we'll be looking for signs of a rejection. Let's see. Oh, not Google. Sorry, Google made new highs in after hours though. Jeez. Okay, so we got SPY, IWM. Green day on IWM. It's getting pretty close now. I have a speculative resistance, right? We talked about this one this morning. Kind of see a little bit of respect there. So I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow we see 221.50 and then a rejection there. Of course, if we break that level and we end up having, small caps move in our favor, then perhaps we end up running past 225.50, and then we'll take it from there and recap from there. But so far, this is a bounce off of the 200. If we end up getting the rejection, consolidation further, guys, and it's not good. I will say that the pump today or the push up today did not happen on great volume, and that's not something you want to see when you're starting to make an uptrend off of support. So seeing that the 200-day EMA is right here and we're so close to resistance, it's going to be pretty imminent that we start to see a break. You're also seeing this HMA right here that has mostly stayed with the stock starting to really curl over. Even if I threw up my, I don't know why this thing just decides to delete my, even if you look at the whole ribbon indicator, you'll notice that it's starting to lose momentum in either direction. So it's not even lose momentum, but to both sides it's thinning out. So it's really a matter of market conditions and data. So all right, again, IWM past 221.50 is where we could see a push up to that 223.85. So and then of course the Dow, we got that third candle bounce. This one we actually rejected right around the 500 HMA for the daily, or that 350, looks like it was 354.37 on the daily for the Dow. Going back here to the hourly, there is a small gap to fill right here that we will be watching. We popped up today. We also have a gap to fill below us. I will say that without this setup here, if we do end up getting a small pullback, it's highly likely that we retest 3,500, and then we could end up making another inverse head and shoulders pattern. But so far we're in trend, holding that bullish moving average. Sorry guys, it's my nose right now. Anyway, 354.30 is where I'd like to see the Dow, of course, push, which is today's high of day, and that would likely put us into the gap. So, but gap above, gap below, so pick one. if it breaks into this gap here, then you might be able to play this one to the downside, but same thing to the upside here. So, all right, so we got pretty much all of our major ETFs charted. I did want to go ahead and include SMH here, since a lot of you guys are in semiconductor swings. A lot of you guys are playing semiconductor stocks. So obviously that's what we're paying attention to here. So so far, and I need to fix the data or the data window on the whole ribbon here, but so far 4 hour, you can see that we ended the day right above the HMA on that time frame. Daily HMA is still relatively far, lined up perfectly with that resistance that we talked about. This is the ETF for semiconductors. So this is my prospective or downtrend that I saw, and you can see that it is well respected here, coming off of another inverse head and shoulders pattern. This is my shoulder, this is my head, this is my shoulder. This is one of my favorite patterns for swing trades. If you can catch it in a shoulder build, you can usually catch a really good play. This is I would say, out of all of my swing trading setups, the inverse head and shoulders is my favorite, and it needs to look like that. Don't, if it's a stretch and you're like then it's not good. I don't want it. Maybe. No, I don't. Also head and shoulders. So anyway, this breaking downtrend, it's not unlike most stocks to see a small retest, but so far all moving averages pointing straight up. Volume is substantial, so the sentiment is high, which is always great. I think everybody is looking to take this one as far as it will go. So we could absolutely see NVIDIA at 275, not by week's end, but it's not outside of the question to see it up around those levels. So, and we'll go over NVIDIA. Okay, so as far as some swings that we took today, I did end up taking DNUT. This one, I know a few people DM me and said that they still had the $15 call that we got last week because we were out till September 17th. They held on, and those are some delicious tendies, so you can use those to go buy some donuts yourself. But rather impressive move here. But if you go out here to the daily, you'll notice that it's kind of extended its wedge a couple times, but it finally bounced really hard. And that is just, I mean, this is still new, and this is also coming off of earnings, so it's really awesome. Now, I'm not getting my hopes up that this thing is just going to rip into outer space. I will keep speculative positions, but I also would like to keep in mind that this is a new IPO and they're liable to dump more shares at some point, so just be careful. Alrighty. So aside from that one, why do I have, there we go. So we have DNUT, and we took a $20 call September 17th, so we'll watch that one tomorrow for continuation, but this one I may hang on to for just a little while. All right, I just read that message. I got you, man. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see. All right, so again, I took Sony as well. I took this one for a bounce off of the 200-day EMA, climb back above the 9-day moving average. So if you go down to the lower time frame, and Sony is a weird stock. You got to learn how to trade this one, primarily a swing trading stock. So if you want to write that down, those of you who are more inclined to swing trading, keep your eyes peeled on Sony because of the way that it moves. Primarily, the majority of the moves made by Sony happen in after hours or pre-market, and you can observe this downtrends. So it makes for an awesome stock to swing trade, as long as and if you want a secret, here's a secret. This is a secret to trading Sony. Oh god. What's happening to my nose? All right. Yes, so I almost blanked there after I did that. Okay, so line graph, right? So you take away your EMAs, right? Just hide those. Boom, bada bing. And it's a little bit easier to chart that. This is okay to do. Don't ever let anybody tell you differently. If they tell you differently, they're a dingus, and you can tell them I said it. Straight up, I see a nice rebound here on Sony, and you can look without the line graph. Beginners, this is a tip for you guys who are learning to chart. This is going to be a part of the course, is line graph charting for those of you. And it's not to be, it's good to see what the candle's rejection looks like. That's why we do candlestick analysis. But to chart and find trends, A-okay. And try it out and see if it helps. I think it will. Okay. Thoughts on Baba? I hope it goes up. No, hollow candles wig me out. There we go. So with Sony here, starting off with this downtrend, it's pretty much apparent to me that we have a break in downtrend. Now this one, like I said, it's a little bit hard to wrestle sometimes. It looks like it went for a correction, whether that been a shakeout or not. I would never take a short out against Sony, just the way that it moves. It's just like you wake up and you're dead, or you're green, you know, like your position's just roasted. So, but with Sony, if you know where this trend is at, and you can see that you got a strong bounce off of this support. RSI is fine. MACD's looking to roll over. I don't really use the MACD like that. You can't really say that this has gaps to fill. But if you look at, and forgive me if I said, did I say 120 call? I meant a Sony 102 call. I apologize if I said 120, but Sony 102 call. And so if this one, even if it just goes to retest this downtrend here, so this is obviously a very well-respected downtrend, right? This is an inside play here. This would likely take us into the 104 zone, which would put our contracts in the money And likely it's going to be risky if you hold it after tomorrow. If it gaps up, take profit. That's how we play Sony. I was just talking to somebody with a small account. If you're looking on building a small account, if you're determined to use Robinhood, or you're just on Robinhood right now, stop draining your account on weeklies and start taking trend-based swing trades, not short expiration swing trades, but short swing trades. Buy towards the end of the day, or if it's a day trade going well and you swing it to the next day, take profit when profit is there, and then from there that you do what you do. Depends on your availability, time, etc., etc. Okay, so with Sony in trend, I like this one to 104 for a simple downtrend retest. I of course like the sentiment behind Sony, and with the tech kind of rebounding here, as well as consumers should see nice run. So at least for an inside day, hopefully we end up breaking to the upside. We could see further, but our expiration is short, so we're just looking to take advantage of this short-term trend. What ETF is this? Is NVIDIA overbought? We'll go check it out. If you were talking about SMH, that's a semiconductor ETF. It's a good way to track things. I'll look at apps. Okay, let's see. All right, then we also took DDD. This one's curling up, right? Looks like it could go just simply to retest downtrend as well. It's up against 29. I am thinking we could see this one around 32.25 for a simple retest of resistance. Again, support. Actually, I'm sorry, let me correct that. We'll just go off of this short-term trend. So you could either go off of this trend line here, which is more apparent, and kind of anticipate a minimal curl to $30. But again, that's DDD. As far as this trend line, guys, if it ends up gapping up, my target is above $30. So if it ends up gapping up and pushing $30, probably within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I'll be taking profit on that contract. So, okay, so that's it for me, guys. I do have my eyes on Roblox. I am in a position that I didn't signal it. I know that Big Stepper and I think Georgie signaled that one. I'm not quite sure. But this one has an apparent inverse head and shoulders on the lower time frame. On the daily, we have broken out of that major falling wedge and looking for a potential reversal. Of course, this is one of those heavily held whale stocks. You've got Nancy Pelosi and Kathy Woods bullish on this one. So we're just watching Roblox, and we'll go over this one tomorrow a little bit more in depth once we see where it gaps up. But we're mostly watching this one above those previous highs, 86.75 and finally 87.50 is where we're hoping to see Roblox. But I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. It is 9 o'clock. That is true. Okay, cool. All right. Now AMD, guys. I know probably some of you guys are going to request this one. This is a relatively clean chart. I like this holding support. You've got it seem like you bounced off of this downtrend really, really well. You gapped up, filled your gap, popped out, and this is one of those stock, NVIDIA and AMD both behaved similarly. I can't do it with my nose like this right now. But they both had similar movements today, and I'm watching this one for a potential retest tomorrow. 108.55 on a pullback. We did see that we broke downtrend on SMH. Anytime you break downtrend, most of the times you'll anytime you break a resistance, for the most part you're gonna retest that. So we'll be looking for a potential retest, or even we'll see if it gaps down. That's not a bad thing. If it gaps down, it's more likely to scare you. Momentum is still there. I would just pay close attention to your moving averages here. So speaking of Yeah. So one thing I noticed too is whenever we flatline on VWAP, for the most part, that's where we'll see a pullback. And you'll notice too that we have this HMA kind of creeping up, and that one's serious. The HMA is definitely a respectable moving average here, and you'll notice here even that a lot of chop occurs. Right here you get a deadpan gap up above the HMA before you finally push below it, which takes quite a bit of effort. You can see a lot of wicks, a lot of back and forth at this level. So oh, I apologize. All right, so Unity, sure, yeah, I can take a look at that. We're gonna go ahead and get to your requests, guys, here in just a second. Just covering these ones. I know a lot of people are in these swings. So tomorrow, HMA 110. That was the target that we had for AMD. Try not to have FOMO. But nonetheless, guys, AMD 110. That was the target. If we make it past 110, the immediate 111 and 111.75 are going to be those main targets. But do expect a little bit of consolidation or chop, hold back before you finally pop with this HMA EMA crossover potential. So, okay, I like when EMAs cross over each other. It usually signifies a buy. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and get to your guys' request. So we got Uber, C3 AI. All right, so Uber, quite a rebound. I was not expecting this, but once I looked out at the daily time frame, I realized I was an idiot, and it was totally right there in our faces. So they did have that bad news, but that bad news I think has already been around. We've heard that headline multiple times. So what happened today is you got to bounce off of support. So 1, 2, 3, and this is a massive falling wedge for Uber. So it is not unlikely that we could that we could see, and this is downtrend right here. We could see a retest, a downtrend, and that would likely take you around the 44, maybe even depending on the move, $45 level. That $45 level would have to happen before the end of August, more than likely. So, and that would, Uber's capable of making those type of moves. And this would likely, like I said, seeing this type of bounce on a downtrend signifies, usually will signify a reversal. So you have a small gap to fill at 41.81 to 42.24. So you could see a reversal at that point, and it could be good for a day trade, but definitely a big engulfment candle. I like to use the hourly, of course, Mobo. So 21, the 200-day EMA, 41.75. That's where I'd like to see that one tomorrow. I think it's cool to use the pivot points on this one too. You'll notice you popped above that pivot point, and on the daily, you're up on and around the S2 support. So, you know what's really funny? God damn, I love technical analysis. Look at where the pivot point is. It's at 46.23, but lined up almost right alongside that downtrend. So we could see, it might be worth watching Uber because it does springboard. We do see like big moves, to our destination and then a flat line. So, okay, so let's go ahead and all right, Momo, so we talked about this falling wedge, and I don't know why I have that. But, so today we had a nice bounce. We're getting to that point. Now, here's the thing. It's not guaranteed because we see this pattern that we're going to see a reversal. But a good mark to watch is going to be $50. $50 would probably be that break of a downtrend, somewhere around there. So 53.75 coming in shortly after that. Again, pivot point strategy, on the money on that one. So we have 55 on the dot. $55 is where that pivot point is, and that will usually be a good retest point. So it could be a play to $55 for sure. It is incredible to know that this was a $183 stock. So wow. All right. Yeah, we'll go over NVIDIA. So I got the Qs. So Pfizer. I think we talked about this. Yeah, we did. One of our last videos, we talked about this one being consolidated. And Pfizer, guys, it's not like a retail's best friend stock. I'll be honest with you guys. It's an ancient dinosaur, right? So heavily institutionally owned. So here is, and you guys probably already see it, right? Pretty symmetrical right there. Nice little setup. This is a consolidation pattern, also bilateral. This is your 1, 2, and what we're looking for is 3. Now this goes for support as well. This is what I usually look for is three taps of resistance and a breakout, or 3 taps of support and a breakdown. So it is highly likely tomorrow that we see 49.13, 49 even on Pfizer for a bounce. At that point, you could end up watching a good dip buy to around 51 bucks. You see the HMA, right, kind of cruising up. Use that as it could be one of those things that kind of helps you with your trend. So maybe going into that day, you see it push that mark there, and then you'll make your next deciding factor. So that's kind of how you can play that one. And again, bilateral pattern, right? So not outside of the question to see a pullback. So on a lower time frame though, that is a bear flag. So watch that one right there for pullback, and then support right there. So excuse me. Got you. Sorry. Yeah, I saw the Spider-Man trailer leak, dude. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I didn't see anything. I saw the headline for it. I was like, what? Okay, so sorry, I'm just pulling up the chat. All right. Can you chart cues? Thanks, Stone. Yeah, I'll check that out. So ZON or ZON Square and NVIDIA. Okay, so we talked about Square in pre-market today, and we nailed it. We got that one as well. This one looks like it's starting a new uptrend here, at least on this time frame. I'm expecting this to be a flag into support on Square. Do watch for a climb up above 272.50 and above that high of day around 273.50. for a break above and a potential EMA moving average crossover. Now, it's not unlikely that we see a wick down to 269. That's a good bounce level to watch. Also, and I've seen this a lot, I saw it today on AMD, we wick down all the way to our 9-day moving average. I told people that I didn't like how far away our 9-day moving average was on the hourly time frame, and it ended up being that we retested it really violently and then springboarded off of it. So be patient on the trade, but watch this one, because I do think that even if you throw up the pivots, you'll notice that we bounced off of a pivot point on the hourly, and on the daily we're still climbing, and you'll notice that our major HMA moving average right here, 500 HMA, is at 276. Now 275 was my immediate target that I talked about this morning, so I'm totally okay with 275. So I think Square has a little bit more, and we also discussed this megaphone type pattern, right? And how this, if we ended up getting a reversal, which we didn't end up trending any lower. We got a nice reversal above the 9-day moving average here. So wait for maybe a little bit of consolidation under here. But if the market conditions a lot, I think we see Square at $300. I know maybe I'm nuts. I know maybe I shouldn't even, but I'm just telling y'all what my gut tells me, is that if we see a break above 275, that $300 is on the way. So, and we know Square moves, right? Square moves when it moves, and it would be probably pretty sick for most of the people who have been trading Square in this range to be able to get out of their positions around $306 when they run pull on retail investors. So, okay, so we have NVIDIA, big green giant cucumber here, absolutely ripping. The volume surprisingly was not as high as it was upon the initial earnings date or day after earnings and bounce. But normally when you're in an uptrend, as long as you're maintaining above average volume, you'll still see solid continuation. Of course, after a day like this of complete rippage, it's not unlike NVIDIA to go and to go and retest a previous moving average that it's respected. So looking back on the previous trends that we've seen on NVIDIA on this hourly time frame, you'll notice that the 20-day EMA, see these marks here, on a downtrend tends to be well respected, and same thing for an uptrend. So I will be watching for a 214.71 bounce if we end up breaking below this 9-day moving average and below 217.54. Come in. Come in. Oh, that scared the shit out of me, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what that was. It might have been my cat. But I would suspect a pullback. Now, it is not unlike NVIDIA to make a rip right at open and then pull back really, really hard, i.e. here. So you see this pullback here, and just looking at where our support is, right? And this is just kind of, again, a prospective support based on a trend that I see so far running off of these lows. I see a pullback, like I said, to 214.54. So it's still in trend, but it's making really, really strong moves to the upside. So anytime you make those type of big moves to the upside, you always get some type of retest. So Upstart, yeah, we can, if links right here. All right, so we got that one. And Coors, we're gonna go over those insider buys here in just a moment. Don't let me forget that. I'm not going to, but so we got Pfizer. NVIDIA unit APPS. Okay, so Adam. Okay. There we go. All right. Well, does this have farther to go? So I'm trying to figure out whether or not, because this isn't a very clean trend, but I'm trying to figure out whether or not that if it's holding this channel, which I think it is. I think these are corrections, but it looks like it's well within downtrend right now. So when you're looking for continuation to the upside, I talked about this a little bit earlier. Whenever you're looking for continuation to the upside, pullbacks or matter because they show you whether or not the stock still has strength for continuation. Now, if you just flip that thinking, right? So if APPS bounces at support, it may be good for a day trade, but all in all stays in a tight range for days. That shows weakness because it's just kind of flatlining to support. So don't be surprised if you see similar price action here, right? Where you kind of taper into the support, right? Because you do have a support right here, likely a lower time frame channel, but that taper is still likely going to bring you down into the $33 level if it continues with this trend. And that's only if it continues with this trend, but that's only judging it on the volume. Again, I don't know if they have news. I don't know if what's financials look like. It's one of those things where when you find a company like this that's seen really high highs and really lows, it's good to look at the charts, but it's also really good to look at the fundamentals and see why is this thing falling like this. So, but anyway, that's my thoughts on that one. All right, so we got Unity. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh, I could cry. That is literally the most, maybe not the most, but that is a beautiful inverse head and shoulders. Is it weird that I gave like whole charts beautiful? I don't know. So this is a great example to show people of what you're looking for when you see these type of patterns. Nice shoulder, good head, good shoulder. Holding trend here, right? This is a stock you go long on because it has crazy pullbacks. See, look at the pullbacks here, right? This one's tough to catch, but it has a big gap to fill all the way to 148. So if it holds trend. Now, I talk about this sometimes, in my one-on-ones. I probably don't talk about it enough, but if I was to take a position, right, on Unity, and let's say I decided to take it to the gap, or even just to a minimum of 132, maybe even 140. Let's say I take a 140, okay? As long as we hold this trend line, I'm gonna make sure that expiration is long, preferably October, September, so probably October, November, and that's when I'm gonna be looking to hold that contract. Anything in between that, right? So if this ends up being true, right, I'll find out on the next resistance. So I can only draw it and see how do I know I'm right? I only know I'm right by finding out. right? So I look for signs of resistance or rejection at a point like this where we could potentially see one, to see if I'm right, especially on prospective resistances like this, or if you're just using linear supports and resistances, you know that there's previous rejection points that you could go off of. So yeah. All right, so let's go ahead. Hey, Adam, my hero. I appreciate you, man. That's appreciated, dog. Hey, you roasted John Deere. I saw that. She thinks my tractor's sexy comment, dude. Nice. I've never heard of the zigzag indicator. APBS? Fredo, you're gonna want to look for, hold on 1 second. I see your message. Sorry. Okay. So with APBS, I'll go back real quick. So for entry, of course, you could take, a small speculative position for a rebound. I can't time the strength or the projection. I can't time that. But all I know is that it's holding this downtrend. So for me, breaks of downtrend, a break above this downtrend would be where I would start looking at a run to this resistance, and that depends on where it's at, when it happens, and the strength that you see on the way there. So if this thing ends up, consolidating a little bit and then just shooting up straight, right, and running right into like 59, 60 bucks, then obviously that's a sign that there's strength there and it could potentially see a run up to 66. But this all depends on the timing. So I wait for breaks of downtrend, or I wait for strength, like a display of strength around of support bounce, especially, one that's happened for the third time here. So okay. Okay, so let's also check out RBLV. RBLV. Revolve group. It's a fresh chart here, y'all. Fresh one. Starting with my lows, right? It's a daily time frame. I don't know if I really like top resistance. We're gonna leave that alone. It could be true, but we'll leave that. Now I'm going down to the lower time frame to make it a little bit easier for me to find the downtrend. That's why I just changed downtrend. So now I have my downtrend set and I can see what it looks like. So I can go to the 4 hour. 4 hour makes that a little bit clearer as well. All right, so obvious U, right? Kind of not a cup, but a rounded bottom here. One thing to keep in mind or to see is that you do have your moving. This could be a really good setup. So this could end up being a really good setup. Now, I don't know too much about it, but I do see that it has had earnings. I don't know if the earnings did well. If they did well and it's pulled back, that's great. I love it. I love when shit pulls back on earnings and had good earnings. I love when investors react negatively, as long as I'm not in it, or if I have puts in it, that's fine. Do what you will. But other than that, it doesn't bother me because I'm totally okay with buying the dip. I did the same thing with JMIA, GRWG. Imagine hearing JMIA's earnings and selling shares at $10. It ran to 70. Like, go ahead, I'll buy them. But anyway, so with RVLV, let's go here. So you see that we have some nice consolidation on this hourly time frame. What you can do, you can set a simple entry, right? So the most simple or straightforward entry would be at these wicks or the high of day. That happened at 60.50. Now, of course, pivot point strategies are never a bad idea because we can see where that springboard action happens. And so right here, the pivot point is where we ended up opening up and gapping off of. So you do have that playing out in your favor. But again, you are up against downtrend. So for me, I'd like to see 61.25. And then I think the immediate target of around 62.50. 62.50 is going to be big. And the reason why 62.50 is going to be big is because it's the previous support that we held. That's where sellers are going to be sitting at. And so if you're in anything that's not long, that's where I would start eyeballing taking profit or such. If you do end up making it anywhere around this 65, 66, 67 level, that it is highly probable that you could make a small time frame cup and handle. So, but this one is at that downtrend. Now, on the contrary, if it doesn't end up breaking downtrend, right? Because we got to look at things from both sides of the coin. This is your support. Now, what could happen, right? Because you've only bounced off the support 2 times. Well, I mean, you get some consolidation here, but one more. So, both could be true, right? Or we just get a nice. So we'll be watching for both opportunities to play out. And here's where I would take it short. 58.85. Okay. AMC. Brian, Riot ER, is that code or are those all individual tickers? All right, it is 9:29, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and cap the request. So you guys have 1 minute to go ahead and drop any last requests that I haven't covered. We will be on tomorrow morning, of course, to continue the recappage. So we were up a little bit early today, guys, so 8:15. And yeah, I think we were on around 8:15, 8:25 this morning until I spilled my coffee. So. SafeMoon wallet is trending on Twitter today. Sorry, I was just reading this news. Riot earnings after hours. We'll take a look at it. All right, so RBLV, what was the next one that we had? AMC. Friggin' C. All right, so we've been talking. Yo, I gotta go find the video where I covered AMC because this shit's wild. So here I've got a couple different ideas for you. Okay, so here's one. Right, Now that could signify one of two things. We end up getting a reversal at this mark here because we're not showing a whole lot of strength. This isn't a great bounce. It's a good bottom, but I would like to see a little bit more strength. And I definitely know that AMC buyers are still present, but I think investors are spread thin. One thing that I think happened is that and I could be wrong, this is speculation, but once everybody found out about short squeezes, they decided that, maybe whether they closed out their positions or whatever the case may be, those short squeezes, it spread people thin, and people stopped looking at just Game and AMC and BlackBerry, and it became there's a whole slew of stocks that come up and down, so they're less clove, you get like a little move to $18 today, but all in all, with AMC right now, you're going to be looking for a climb above $40. That's that psychological number that's going to attract buyers back in, and you'll notice when you climb above $40, you end up getting really good movement past that, usually into the $45, $46 level. So it is not and you can see here that if we do end up getting a reversal, it could and more than likely would have us trending down to $25. They want you to sell. I don't think they're in a comfortable position, and if anybody tells you that these hedge funds that are feeling good about shorting AMC, they're probably not. I know that a lot of people take it to the up and the downside, but excuse me. Oh, okay. Of course, I got you. Okay. Okay. So Riot. Yeah. Let's go look at it. Alright, that's what I see right there. You just need a little bit more strength. You need buyers. Now, of course, earnings happen, right? So you'll see your reaction tomorrow. If you end up getting a gap up in pre-market, then that'll signify potential upside and a crossover of the HMA on the hourly. On the daily time frame, your HMA and your nearest targets are around $40. Your HMA is all the way around 43.24. I think I'm not alone in my thoughts that Bitcoin could rebound, maybe even go near previous highs, and that would likely reflect in stocks like Riot, Mara, etc. Coin. But Bitcoin's running up on really, really low volume. So it's a little bit worrisome, I will admit. So, and it also is not showing like the catalyst for it. I think it's about to go, like, there's still going to be incoming regulations that eventually will be a bullish thing for it, but could ultimately scare people in the process. So, alrighty. Hey, Coors, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, Coors, if you want, in the morning, just recap this video. I'll go over the insider sales. So, Brian, you must have been talking to Solventless. All right, so let's see. Mara, same thing. So we got Mara, Baba, VIX. Okay, so you can see the similarities. The only difference here is we're above the HMA on the daily with Mara. Now, here's the thing. Sympathy. So in sympathy to Riot, if Riot does well, I'll make it really simple. Riot does well after earnings, then we could send it. But of course, Bitcoin is the huge factor, and also the outlook, right? So how much is Mara and Riot Company going to be making in the next quarter report after the volatility, on cryptocurrency died down for a while. So, but we'll see. So with Mara, honestly, looking here on the hourly, same accumulation that you saw with Riot. So if you want to see further upside, you're just going to need to see continuation on Riot, which has the catalyst to potentially move you forward. Brian, that's good, man. And honestly, talking to everybody in the chat is probably the fastest way to learn. Straight up, and that's the benefit of having a small chat that doesn't and a lot of people hate it, but doesn't have a ton of people just pouring in from everywhere, because then you just get egos and clashes. I'd rather be in a team. So Coors. I might play Fortnite when I hop off. I don't know. I did have Call of Duty, bro, but that shit pissed me off. So all right, so let's look at the VIX. So with the VIX, this one does seem to be falling, obviously, off of the market moving back up. This has been the downtrend that we have been holding. With the VIX, I mean, it's not so much of a chart here. You know what I mean? Like you get random pops when people get scared, got knee-jerk reactions, immediate reversals, and they keep splitting it. It keeps reversing. I mean, if anything, it's filled a gap. You know what I mean? So like if it ends up closing back below that again, then it could end up trending back down into the $12 range. But yeah, it's just running inverse to SPY. So as soon as SPY pops, VIX drops. I think on the weekly, there's like this crazy looking falling wedge, right? That might be happening, but that still might be happening for a little minute here. And we can historically go back and see that you get similar, right? And then pew, and then it flatlines, and pew. So study those previous moves. Pew, and then pew. So two pops. But interesting movement there. Oh god, FLGC made a new high again. Alright, Octavio. Did I get your stock? AMC, I did. Okay, cool. Of course, not a problem, man. COD puts in. Yeah, I'm about to look at Baba right now. Baba. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we talked about this week. With any great drop, you guys can see here, there's gonna be a pop. So I would say at least a quarter. I'm gonna say 170 at a minimum, but 169.32. Fake the buyers out. Get it around that mark. People think it's gonna hit 170. Fake the options. But so far, you do have a lower time frame break and downtrend. But if you run this top downtrend, you'll notice that it lines right up with my HMA. My HMA is at where? 170 on the friggin' dot. So that's my mark. That's where I'm taking. If I was taking BABA, that's where I would take BABA right there. Maybe 170, 175 to really fake out. If you close above that, maybe we're going to see some FUD news. But let's start. And I will say that volume is very, very high. But every time there's a dip buy on BABA since the FUD, the volume rises exponentially. So I think in the meantime, we can just play it short to 170. That should be, and that's only if we end up closing above and pushing today's highs. So. Oh, you asked me about DE as well. Did I cover DE? Am I losing my shit? Excuse my language. If I didn't, this one has a nice breaking downtrend here. After hours looks like it's holding up above. It could end up making an inverse head and shoulders, but above 365.88 is where I would pay attention. Yeah. So lower time frame break in downtrend. It's a little bit early, but I think that you may see a retest at least to 375 on DE here. So, all right. All right. Looks like that was it. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I don't think if I missed anything, let me know. I think I got everything. But see you guys in the morning. If not, pretty good day for most of you guys. Remember, don't get greedy. Pumping up on low volume and with the conditions we're dealing with now are not always the most reassuring things when moving or trying to take a bullish position. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. I'll alert on my Twitter. No, I did not go over Tesla. I did go, if you guys caught my Tesla analysis, this morning, you guys made freaking bank, because it was down to the penny on the dot. But, I'm taking Tesla long. I think this one goes to around 750. I think we see Tesla at 750 potentially, in the next coming days. So, at a minimum, I'm watching this one to 725. So it has a gap to fill. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and log out. I'm tired. I got to go ahead and get up early. So, yeah, no problem. Thank you, Coors. Thank you guys for the tips. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow, bright and early. So, night, y'all. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys. I'll cover Tesla more in the morning too as well. So, but make sure you guys are on bright and early. Yeah, no problem. See you guys tomorrow. Also, discount code for Bloomberg for those of you DMing me about Bloomberg. Use the link below. Discode link. I love this thing. So, anyway, peace out, guys.